Hello, everyone, and welcome to the modern portion of the StarCityGames.com Players Championship Finale. Joe Lossett, Caleb Scherer, Green Black Tron, Dredge is your matchup, and Joe Lossett currently up 1-0 overall in the finals match. Now, remember, it's best 2 out of 3 formats here to decide the finals. And Joe did win in Legacy, of course, with Miracles, defeating Caleb, who, of course, was playing Storm. And so now Joe does win this match against Caleb. He is your Players Champion. If Caleb wins this match, we'll play a third and final one. It will be in Standard, but we won't get too far ahead of ourselves as we take a look at Black Green Tron against Dredge. You feel like, obviously, the Relic is going to play a role in things, Ugin too.
Yes, and I like the fact that Lossett's deck doesn't have a lot in the ways of kind of conventional removal spells. They aren't well aligned for this kind of matchup. You want to be attacking the graveyard, and Ugin is a haymaker here because it's an exiling effect on everything. But the Pyroclasm type effects don't really slow Dredge down. They are very good at just continuing to rebuild, put everything back into play, and so you need to either be locking them out of the game or killing them very quickly. Lossett's deck taking the former path.
And the splash here for Joe is mostly for collective brutality. The black also allows him, in theory, to play Ravenous Trap. I don't think that's really the plan in regards to casting Ravenous Trap, but we're underway here in the finals. An Insolent Neonate off of a Copperline Gorge is where Caleb Scherer will start. For Joe, it's Nurse's Mine and a Relic of Progenitus. Good start.
All right.
Good start.
Well, welcome.
I think that's why Joe took a mulligan. Caleb says, I will discard Golgari Grave Troll off the Neonate, and now I will dredge 6. Bloodghast is 1. Blackleaf Cliffs, another Neonate. Conflagrate, Dark Blast, and Gemstone Mine.
Not a whole lot to get the ball rolling there. Just a Bloodghast. Not a huge concern for Lossett.
Joe will target Caleb with the Relic. Now Caleb will dredge the Dark Blast. Couple of lands and a Faithless Looting there for Caleb. Dark Blast goes back to the hand. What more can Caleb do now? A land and Dockmore Salvage will get back the Bloodghast. And Caleb will pass the turn back.
And now Scherer has to find some way to induce Lossett to use the Relic while leaving enough of a hand left over to be able to rebuild, and that is asking a lot.
Here's an Expedition map to go along with the Relic, and Joe says, you know what, I'll activate this again. Caleb will lose a card. That's not of much relevance. And now we go back over to Caleb, who's drawn a copy of Faithless Looting. An attack for 2 from the Bloodghast will bring Lossett down to 18. And now this is a Faithless Looting. And Joe will consult his hand, but I see that Urza's Tower in your hand, Joe. You can't hide it from me. Here's a Gemstone Mine. And a Mana Confluence.
And still not enough here to force the issue. I think that Lossett can comfortably allow Scherer to take at least one more dredge here with the Grave Troll. It's possible he wants to act soon. Now with Scherer having a third land in play and the Faithless Looting's in the graveyard, but I still think Lossett can afford to be a little bit patient here.
Well, it's interesting because I believe Joe's hand right now is Tower Karn. And if it is Tower Karn, I've probably got some interest in just using the Relic now. Just use all of my mana. Crack Relic now, draw my card, cold your graveyard. Tower Karn, whatever I like to do with it.
Sure.
Go.
Yeah, I mean, if Lossett has the best possible rolled up already, then he can afford to be a little bit more aggressive with the Relic. Or if he's going to tap out for Karn and is worried about Scherer doing something pretty powerful out of his graveyard next turn. And I believe that's the concern here.
Well, there is the Relic taking care of the graveyards for good. Another tower has been drawn. Tron is online, and Karn Father is here.
You got to be loving this.
Me and Karn, we go way back.
Way back. And we go all the way up.
I think that elevator might be going up, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not too scared of the old Bloodghast.
I mean, I have my eye on the Mana Confluence, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Karn is up to 10. Gemstone Mine is what was exiled. Stinkweed Imp the draw, and Caleb is beat again. Joe Lossett very quickly winning these games here in the finals. Up 1 here with Green Black Tron against Dredge. But truth be told, that Relic was obviously difficult for Caleb. It is a great card against Dredge, but the Karn, look, when it has 10 loyalty, good luck killing that thing.
Relic plus Natural Tron into Karn is about as good as Lossett can do game number 1. And now we go to the sideboard where I believe he gets the better of it.
We'll start with Caleb, who's got an Abrupt Decay and Ancient Grudge, a Golgari Charm, 4 Nature's Claim, 2 Collective Brutality, 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Bajuka Bog. I mean, I think the Thoughtseizes are good at least.
Yeah, I don't mind having the Thoughtseizes here. It's possible Nature's Claim is above the bar, but I imagine that's more of an anti-measure against sideboard cards rather than trying to tag stray Expedition maps and so forth.
Other side of things here for Joe, 2 Engineer Explosives, 2 Thragtusk, 4 Nature's Claim, 4 Ravenous Trap, 2 Warping Whale, and a Forest. I think there are 4 cards that stand out.
Well, 4 copies of Ravenous Trap. I mean, this is the matchup they're here for. It's a huge boon for Lossett to have them. You could potentially talk me into the Engineered Explosives and Thragtusks just because if Lossett can cut off the graveyard, Scherer might still be able to do something in the early turns. It's enough pressure to force Lossett to do something. Engineered Explosives and or Thragtusk can play cleanup there. They're fringe cards. Ravenous Trap's definitely the prize here. But some of the anti-creature measures and Engineer Explosives and or Thragtusk could be okay here as well.
Well, these players have sideboarded up. They're already beginning to shuffle, so we won't take too much time, but we will talk about our Jacob Ball Energy token. Of course, Jacob, he did win that Atlanta Invitational just a couple weekends ago to qualify for this tournament. Made it all the way to the top 4, so a great weekend for him. Both 2 weekends ago in Atlanta and this weekend here in Roanoke, Virginia at the Star City Game Center. Energy Reserve token will be available a couple different ways starting at our Columbus Open.
Well, if you can make it out to the SCG Tour, any Open or any Classic will come with this token for free when you enter. And if you can't make it out to the SCG Tour, any order from StarCityGames.com, $5 or greater, will be shipped with this token. That starts January 23rd.
Congratulations again to our Atlanta Invitational champion. That is Jacob Baugh. Pretty sweet artwork on that Energy Reserve token done by Star City's own Andrea Radek. So congratulations. Game number 2 between Joe Lossett and Caleb Scherer about to begin. Green-Black Tron versus Dredge for Caleb. Again, it's been kind of a down year, but a lot of consistency for the 28-year-old from St. Louis, Missouri. 2 open top 8s. No open wins just yet, but 2 invitational top 8s, and that win in Las Vegas last year, that was a huge one for him. Helped him qualify for this tournament. A lot of matches played in 2016. We know the Legacy deck is Storm. We know the Modern deck is Dredge, and for Standard, he went with Tamer Aetherworks, where many enjoyed Naya Aetherworks. But he's got a tough road to hoe here. He can't do much more losing.
Yeah, really had his back up against the wall at that 2015 Invitational, had to win double-digit matches in a row, and he needs a similar run here. Now down a match and down a game, and if he gets out of this, he's on the draw in a tough matchup in Standard that in my mind is very play-draw biased. So this would be quite the comeback, to say the least.
But we have seen him make very impressive comebacks before. That Las Vegas Invitational, it certainly does stand out. Caleb will take a look at his 7, as will Joe. Caleb will be on the play with Dredge. And he's going to send that back very quickly. Lossett will take a look at his, and I think he is happy to keep.
And Lossett's keeps in this matchup and mulligans are really binary. It's, do I have a fast path to a lockout piece, or can I attack Scherer's graveyard? So when Lossett keeps 7, Scherer knows he's playing against the goods. Lossett's not keeping fringe 7-card hands. He has so many powerful things to mulligan for that there's no reason to be risky.
Yeah, he's not keeping a hand without Relic or Ravenous Trap or Tron,
right?
Or something that can get him to Tron. It looks like Caleb is going to fall down to 5 cards now. Now Dredge is a deck, of course, that does mulligan pretty well.
But typically, graveyard not nearly under this level of duress.
And down to 4. It's a tough way to have a tournament end, if it does end here, after what has been such a good tournament for Caleb.
Well, that is part of the deal of playing Dredge.
It is.
It's a deck that mulligans a lot. And I appreciate here Lossett really just trying to keep his composure. He knows he's in a great spot, but it is really easy to get ahead of yourself here.
Caleb will keep it. Top card going to go to the bottom. We'll see if he can, I was going to say even function, but all he can do is just pass the turn back. Joe with a chromatic sphere. Caleb will just draw and pass. Lossett will draw. He'll sack this and draw a card. Add a color, of course, likely to be green. Sylvan Scrying. Oh, yeah, making it look easy.
Mm-hmm. We might see your boy in a minute.
Might be time for a little carnage.
I would not want to reset this game.
No, you just want to close it out. Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna get you that raise. Blackleaf Cliffs the draw. Here's a Thoughtseize. Lossett with Ulamog, 2 Ravenous Traps, a Chromatic Sphere, a Chromatic Star, and Ursa's Mine, and a Forest. The hand was a doozy.
Okay.
Yep. The threat might take a little while to cast, but his hand is a doozy. Ulamog, the weapon of choice. Caleb will write down the rest, and Joe will untap here in just a moment.
I mean, that is, I think that makes the most sense, in terms of imagine a path for you to win the game. It's Lossett floods out. He never draws another spell from here. And in that world, Ulamog's the best card. So I don't think Scherer's odds are great, obviously, but his play is at least consistent.
I mean, Caleb knows that he needs to get absurdly lucky, so you might as well try to get lucky.
Yep, hoping Joe just floods out here is your hope.
Joe going to do some cycling. I think he may have found Ugin off of that last one. Caleb with the Dockmore Salvage. Here's Insolent Neonate. Play the Savage, pass the turn back. Lossett will draw. He'll play a basic Forest. Oh, it's the Ugin the Spirit Dragon. He can feel it now.
I believe this is now back-to-back Players' Championships.
Revolving
by this card.
Revolving around Ugin and Tron, yes. Jim Davis last year. Joe Lossett this year. Ugin went after the Neonate. Caleb sacrificed that, discarding a Conflagrate. And he'll just pass the turn back. Over to Lossett we go. Ancient Stirrings is what he's found. He'll take a look at the top couple of cards. Urza's Tower among them, but Joe's looking for a big threat to close it out with. Oblivion Stone is a way to buy some more time, if necessary.
I mean, that's Oblivion Stone doesn't look great in this spot necessarily, but it is essentially the full lock.
Yep.
Ugin protects him from anything that can go on in his main phase, and Oblivion Stone can make sure that there's no haste route to do anything of note.
Cathartic Reunion the draw here for Caleb. And he will just give up because he cannot win. Joe Lossett wins this match here over Caleb Scherer, 2-0. Green-Black Tron will take care of Dredge, and Joe Lossett is your StarCityGames.com Players Champion.
And you can see the smile on his face, the look in the camera there. I mean, this is a year's worth of work, and it is not easy work to qualify for this thing under the best of circumstances. Lossett had to have quite the heavy travel schedule, had to perform well in a variety of events, and then you have to come here and play against the best the SCG Tour has to offer. A really great year for Lossett. Grand Prix circuit, the SCG Tour, and now culminated here with a championship at the Players Championship.